Hey everybody, I was watching TV last night, which honestly is something that I don't do very often anymore, or not because I'm trying to give it up, but just because it has no appeal for me anymore. I've just kind of grown out of it, which is interesting because I'm wondering, so many people in the Mandela Effect community comment on the same thing, that they just don't watch mainstream television. And maybe you get to wake up if you stop watching mainstream television. I don't know which comes first, the chicken or the egg. Do you stop watching mainstream television because you can see through the lies and the deception there because you're waking up or you're awake? Or when you stop watching mainstream television, do you stop receiving the subliminal programming so you start to wake up? Maybe it's a little bit of both. But I was watching TV last night. I didn't feel like reading or listening to YouTube or taking a walk, whatever. And an ad came on, and it was really strange. It was an ad for heart medicine. I'm going to play it for you. Just watch this ad and notice if you see anything strange about it. So in the beginning of the ad, it shows an animated heart in the man's chest. And that heart is clearly on the left side of that man's chest. And then it immediately goes to an animated body where it places the heart smack dab in the middle of the chest. So first it shows the animation of the heart coming through so you can see where the man's heart is, and it's clearly to the left side of his chest. If you look at the buttons running down the middle of his shirt, it's very clear the artist animated it to the left in his chest. And then they use another animation, perhaps by a different artist or the same artist, who knows, where they place the heart smack dab in the middle of his chest. So everybody in the Mandela Effect community has probably seen by now the videos on the many, many changes to the human body. And one of the first to be noticed was that the heart, which we were always taught was slightly over to the left, you know, where you place your hand doing the Pledge of Allegiance, take your pulse on the left arm, and heart attack victims were told to always pay attention if they had any pain in their left shoulder or arm, etc. So one of the first changes to the human body that people in the community noticed was that the heart had moved from the left side of the body to the absolute center of the body. So here we've got an advertisement showing both. Why is that important? Because all of our information comes from other people. Unless you meditate and pray, then you get direct information from source or direct information from your higher self. But everything else in the world that doesn't come directly from inside you, from going within, is coming through somebody else. Another human being is creating the programs for your television. I'm creating this video for you. Another human being is creating the videos on YouTube from which you're sharing information. another human being or human beings wrote the history books that you were taught at school. It goes on and on and on. There is nothing here in this reality on this planet that you can source outside of yourself that isn't being constructed through the mind of another human being. So we're definitely not dealing with truth. I think truth is a concept that really needs to come from within, because I don't have another word for it. That kind of truth that you get through meditation and prayer. It's a knowing, or a gnosis, that ancient word that's been used for Gnostic, etc., etc. It's a gnosis. It's a knowing. It's a knowing based on truth that comes from within. If anything comes from outside of you, including this video and me, think about it. Process it and say, does that feel true? Does that ring true? You know, is that also true for me? And I know we do share a lot of truths, especially within this community, because we're basically good, honest people trying to figure out what the heck is going on. Our reality has shifted. Our reality is shifting. Our reality is changing. It changes every day. Look at that advertisement where it shows the human heart on the left and it shows the human heart in the middle. Okay, so is that a simple Mandela effect being caught in the middle of its change? Like, it hasn't taken a viewpoint yet. So it's not saying the heart is on the left, so it shows two pictures or animations of the heart on the left. And it's not saying the heart is in the center, showing two center hearts. It's got a foot in each camp. It's saying the heart is on the left, and then immediately it's saying, no, the heart is in the center. Why? Is that an honest, innocent mistake of how changes are presented to us? Because for every change, we can still find residual proof of how it used to be. Maybe that residual proof will eventually disappear. Maybe when it's a firm fact and every human being in the world believes it is X, all the Y's that show the residual proof of how it used to be will just disappear, be gone, as if they never existed. So that gets back to mind over matter. And if you've watched my earlier videos, you know that I believe that the Mandela effect is nothing new, but it might be speeding up now. It might be happening a little bit more often, so it's more noticeable. But I believe it's always been this way, that matter has always shifted and changed and edited around us, but we were unaware of it. We just didn't notice it. You know, if the heart moved from the left to the center, why would we notice that? We were so busy watching TV and working and raising families and trying to pay our bills. You know, they keep you extra stressed, so you really can't pay attention to the little things around you. You know, you got to focus on survival, so you won't notice these changes in matter and go, hey, why did that change? Why did that shift? So now that we're awake, we see the changes. We're looking for them. And I think the changes were always there, and we're just awake to them now, just aware of them now. And I do kind of feel like they're speeding up, but I can't prove that because before I didn't notice them. So I really didn't have a time frame on how quickly Mandela effects occurred every day, every hour, every week, every month, every year. And I think matter is energy and waveform responding to thought and feeling. And when you get enough collective thoughts and feelings together from the human collective consciousness and the human collective subconsciousness, that is more powerful than the waves that make up inanimate matter around us. And we change it, we edit it, we change it with our collective feelings and our collective thoughts, which is why it's so important that we hold happy, positive, loving, and forgiving thoughts as much as possible, which is why the powers that be are constantly streaming fear and doom and gloom to us, because they need us to feel fearful and afraid so that we give them all our power. And they say, here's our money, go make some more bombs and protect me. And here's my money, go build some more overseas bases and take over other parts of the world because the world is so scary. I need you to protect me. So there's a real psychological terror operation going on with keeping people in a state of fear so that you can always control them. So we all kind of know that, and we're getting beyond that. We're moving beyond that because, I mean, we're peaceful, loving people, so we want a peaceful transition into a cooperative, compassionate governing system. And, you know, to get there, we're just not going to live in their states of fear anymore. And once they can't scare us, and then they can't control us, we hope it's a natural, peaceful transition into a new way of living and governing and sharing, more cooperative, less fear, more loving, more forgiving, more compassionate government is what we're looking for. And that would change our food industry and our air, our water, our energy. It would change everything as soon as we live in a truly harmonious and cooperative system, the way any healthy system actually operates, with all parts healthy and all parts in cooperation with all other parts. So getting back to that advertisement, did they do it subconsciously, not even noticing it, and they put in both places for the human heart without realizing it? Or did they do it on purpose? Are they noticing the Mandela effect as well and saying, hey, we need to control the information, and we need to control the information on the Mandela effect as well? So we're just going to kind of transition here and put in both places for the human heart. You know, is that a manipulative decision to put both locations for the human heart right next to each other, side by side in one advertisement, which most people wouldn't even notice? It would just go into their subconscious mind and they would accept that the human heart is in both places. Or was that an accident? Are they not Mandela affected so they didn't notice they put the heart in two places? In that advertisement, was the heart placed in two different places on purpose by the people producing the ad? Or not? Was it a mistake? And they got Mandela'd. Boom, right there, in your face, side by side. The heart is on the left, and then a moment later, the heart is in the center. I don't know. What do you guys think? I just find it really interesting and fascinating. So keep your eyes out and see if you see double Mandela effects with the residual and the new placed in mainstream media side by side. And then maybe we can figure out whether they're doing it by accident because they're not aware or awake, or if they're doing it on purpose to help augment the fact that, hey, yeah, human thought changes matter, but we don't want you to know that. We don't want you to know that matter is changeable, and we certainly don't want you to know how matter is changed. I think the next step for our community is to figure out how to change matter and to do it positively, creatively, cooperatively, and compassionately. Peace. Love y'all. Bye.